Hello there. I don't know what happened. My little was meant to come in. But there we go. Happy Saturday. Saturday is Friday. Well, it might be Saturday for you if you are in the wonderful areas of the world where it is Saturday. Like Australia and New Zealand, but it is Friday for me. I was getting ahead of myself. How you doing today? Doing good? See, Rosa on YouTube posted before we went live. Can't wait for this. Can't wait for this one. Thanks for these great meditations and talks. Well, thank you, my friend, if you're still here. Nestor is here as well. Welcome. Great to have you here. Also on Facebook, we have Nancy. Great to have you here, Nancy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are we today? What are you up to? Any plans for the weekend? I'll be doing my group coaching call tomorrow, so that'll be fun as always. And then a week Sunday, I will be traveling to the airport to go back to England. So that'll be nice. Can't believe it's only a week, almost a week away for that 11-hour journey. So hopefully, I'm just looking at the other monitor here just to see if I saw a glitch. Am I glitching? Hey, my friend. I actually said happy Saturday earlier. Whoops, sorry. Oh, that's my phone. I don't know why my phone's on the floor. But I said happy Saturday, but it's a Friday for me. Great. Cuddles. Trying to get my wires. What a boy. But great to have you here. Hope you're starting your weekend off well. Michelle is here as well. Welcome. Someone in my group, just his Facebook user. But listening to this in the background while I do some work. Well, that's cool that you get the opportunity to do that. I'm gonna test something. Oh, press a button. Makes the comment disappear. Good to know. Good to know. Well, like I said, have we got any plans this weekend? I've been super busy today. As Deborah. Great to have you here, superstar. Yeah, so the user permissions, because it's a private secret group. It's a secret. So it doesn't allow the name to get popped up there. But great to have you here. Oh, I'll turn off my reverb. Yeah, I was thinking about my app today. I don't know if this will work. I'm thinking about making it looking a bit like this, like as an interface. So we've got the free section, the hypnosis library, custom hypnosis, but then you see there'll be the longer sleep hypnosis, some special stuff, and some audio programs. Not my main program, of course, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Hey Med, great to have you here. Well, thank you as well. I did that all myself. I was just playing around. But that's how I'd like it to be, something similar to that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Where's my drinks? No, not that one. I want this one. So that'd be cool. Oh, thank you. Yeah, we'll see how it'll be. I'll pull it back up. There we go. Something like that. I don't know. That's not my thing. I pay people to do that. Or do you mean just what I did there? I just used Canva. That was just my rough design. I've got a bit of a poorly back at the moment, so I might be stretching, by the way. I may be stretching throughout. I am doing wonderful, having a slightly poorly back even. Yeah, thank you for asking. I'm doing great. Hope you're doing good as well. Yeah, Canva, it's just super easy, isn't it? Just to drop things in, move things around. So, we'll be moving on to that phase. Now we've fixed things very soon. It's been a while. I need to know who's in my group. My phone's on the floor somewhere. Just let me know in the chat so I know I can decide. I can look at my phone, my computer. It's right here after all. So let's see. Oh, maybe it's in a different group. What other group would that be? Who knows? Yeah. Yes. My plan is playlist, repeat as well, a repeat function. But yeah, that's definitely the plan. It's on my, like, I even potentially want a night and dark mode as well, so you can just switch it all to night or all to day type of thing, like, so it's brighter and darker. It's on my wish list, so now I've got to tally it all up, see what the investment shall be. But yeah, the playlist is something I'd really like to have on there. Oh. You never know, it might be in a month's time, who knows? Another superstar in the house. Well, that's so kind of you. Yeah. I've actually got other graphics which like branch out to different things, but I'm not going to show that on screen just yet. Not yet. Because I haven't downloaded it. Mina is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I can hear Mr. C getting into trouble. Mr. Cuddles. Mr. Cuddles. I need to get my hair cut too. But I need to wait until I leave. Or as I'm leaving. I'm leaving on a week Sunday. A week Sunday. Hey Linda, great to have you here. So just so you know, for everyone, we've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I'm taking like a 2-week break to celebrate my 40th. So this coming week, including this one, we've got 4 live streams. But then, so we've got today, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I leave for a short period of time. Oh. Yes, I got some ideas. I'm keeping that secret right now. Keeping that bit secret. Yeah, I have. Theta. Right? Theta. I only talk about what I know, and I don't know enough to make it valuable. I don't know enough to make it valuable because they're just different states, and to be honest, I like to just keep it simple. And I just go, well, just go into trance, do this, do that, get out of trance. So I haven't really looked into it, but I do know, you know, different states mean different things. But so for example, my background music has like the theta, not this music. I have no idea what this music would be, but some of my hypnosis I use theta, but I don't know enough to be able to articulate it. I could research and then articulate it, but not as of right now. Ah, thank you. You can send me something. In fact, Mina sent me a kind little gift over there. I can't reach it though. I just have one of those addresses you send it. And send me an email. I mean, you don't have to, by the way. I'm not saying send me gifts. True. Yeah, I think simplicity. Because it doesn't matter enough to me to say, well, it's got to be this to be able to do that. Because I know what I do works for what I do, and then I just kind of use some theta music. I will be doing all my streams next week. I leave on Sunday. Not this Sunday, next Sunday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So yeah, that's the thing. I don't know either. I've got an address, but I don't know how I'd send it. So always feel free to email and then we'll get it out to you. But I appreciate it. That's ever so kind. But yeah, theta, all that stuff, super cool. But it's, I'm not saying I think is super life-changing. Oh my goodness. Mr. Kevin Michael Reed. Mr. Kevin Michael Reed. You knew it wasn't called that. Great to have you here then, my friend. Probably the most, you know, right from the beginning of live streaming. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Nail's here as well, in the same category. Where have you been? Look, where have you been? Where am I heading to celebrate? So, well, when I'm going back to England, I'm going to Cambridge, Bournemouth, and the Cotswolds, because that's where my family live. I'll be in the Cotswolds for my birthday. So my mum said she's found an amazing Indian restaurant. I love Indian food. I mean, there's Indian food out here in America, but I haven't found one I really like. It's just different because it's different places. So my mum said she's found a great one, so we'll be going there. And then we're going to, I don't know if people know this, if you're not in England, I don't know. It's in America as well. Me and my friends, we booked a table at the Ivy. Because my friends who I grew up with, 2 of their birthdays is like a week after mine. So we're going to the Ivy. There's about 10 of us going. So that'll be cool. And then I don't know what I'm doing in Bournemouth, but it's a coastal town, so we might be taking a little trip somewhere. In Cambridge, I'm going to, the day I get there, I think, I'm going out for another Indian meal. I need to get a 3 Indian meal quota in, ideally, because that means I have 3 Indian meals a year. So yeah, other than that, I don't know. I don't know what else I'm doing. Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I go back to England twice per year at the moment. So I've booked my trip for Christmas and New Year. So I'll be there. Because I live alone. And I did Christmas for myself last year. It's actually really pleasant. I cooked a Christmas dinner by myself, for myself. So it's actually very pleasant. I liked it. Hey Gina Marie, great to have you here. How are you doing? It's been a while-ish, I guess. It's been such a long time now. The good old days. Wow, Kevin. With statements like that, I know that you'll know. You were in Ireland and London for a bit. I don't know how many Indian restaurants you went to. Did you go to Brick Lane? I'm going to Brick Lane, actually, probably. In London. With my brother and my niece. But that statement presupposes you're inviting me out to Connecticut. That's what it presupposes. In my mind, I'm thinking, Kevin Michael Reed's inviting me out for some dinner here. So confirm that and then we'll figure it out. That's true. That's true. Oh, there we go. Then I trust your opinion on that one. I trust your opinion. And your invite. My tattoos. I'll show you the ones I can show. Not that I got anyone. I got one on my back, that's all. But I got this one. In Sanskrit. It is, in light and illusionary darkness, there is only love. I'm the everlasting moment of oneness. I am love. So that's one I actually got this in Thailand when I was out there for a few months. And I wrote it out myself. I came up with a paid someone to transcribe it back, and then it worked out pretty much the same. It's an ancient, non-used language, really, Sanskrit. So that's one. And then this one just got some symbols there, which mean no, it doesn't. That's what that one means. Expand and heal. I was on a treadmill one day, and I was like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And I just got expand. I was like, what does that mean? And then I got heal. So I'm going to get a tattoo for expand and heal. Expand the mind, heal the body, heal in my purpose, expand in my purpose. So it made sense. Oh, crazy days. 9 more days. 9 more days and I'm going to, ish, to England. Oh, then, yeah. I mean, Bradford has quite a population. Am I right in thinking that? Like, of Indian descent in the Bradford area? So it must be amazing. And yes, you said a fantastic multicultural city. Yeah, so yeah, that'd be amazing. I've never been there myself. I've asked you specifically, when are you free? And I'll fly out. I want to see the studio. Give me some dates. Modesto, great to have you here. Welcome. It's a great award-winning bricklayer feature on TV. Oh, that's a shame about that. Yeah, my brother's found a place he loves. So we're doing something in... We're going to do Camden Market as well. So... yeah, we're going to Camden Market when in London. Yeah, I planned it. I planned on getting one before I was out there. Oh, that's nice. I think I've said before, but I got my first tattoo at 16 years old. And I used my brother's ID. None of my brothers have tattoos. None of my family do, other than me. So I borrowed. He actually lent me his ID so I can get into pubs when I was a youngster, when I was 16. It's kind of English thing to do. But yeah, I got my first tattoo at 16. Claire Driver's here. Welcome. Yeah, me too. Me too. Oh yeah, just zip along on the play bar maybe. Ah, so it must have lost some essence then. Great to have you here, John, as well. Nice, nice. Yeah. Tattoos aren't that painful either. It's just like being pinched 100 times a second. So there we go. Should we get into some of the live stream or the podcast recording? So we've got some tattooed people in the house. Got some tattoo. I've got a bit of a poorly back at the moment. So just bear with me if I'm stretching as I'm moving. I'm not dancing to the music, I promise you. And this is going to be episode 823. 823. I've got nothing else to report. Oh wow, that's... I've been to some interesting places, but I haven't been to Iran. Or would you say Iran? I say Iran. Iran. I don't know if that's even close-ish. I've been to Israel a few times. 4 or 5 times. Hey Nancy, great to have you here on the stream. Great to have you. But I like invites. I like invites. I think that could be a lot of places. That's one statement. You could probably go, well, that applies to England, America, this country, that country, this country. I know we have more extremes of versions of that, but Thermacare heat thing is sticking on your body. No, but what I've got a massage gun, and I've got the electronic. I'm gonna use the electronic zzz on my back soon. So Iran. So I was right. Iran. That's how we say it in England. Hey Rosetta, great to have you here. Oh, Ahmed, I got your review. Your review came through. And it was wonderful. I really appreciate you leaving a review on my app. A free hypnosis app. So I got the review, but there's one thing though, Matt. You rated it 4 stars. You rated it 4 stars out of 5. It was an amazing review, saying it was really good and long, but it's 4 stars out of 5. Let's bump that up to 5 if you'd like, unless there's something I need to do an ad. But no, I really, really appreciate that. Very kind review, my friend. But there you go, it's points to 5 stars. Beep. But yeah, get the app, freehypnosis.app. Might be doing a sale soon. Yes. I've got one right here as well. Got a foam roller too. Yeah. Or you can just edit your review. You go to write the review again and it brings up your present review. And then you can just tap the 5 and then submit again and it'll be fun. But yeah, it's a bit fiddly on the App Store sometimes. Yeah, they are really good. Sometimes just on just having like a tennis ball is really helpful. So yeah, I'll use my foam roller, massage gun, and the electronic pulse thing soon. Or I also got like I call it my bed of nails, and that really helps. So this acupuncture, it's a mat. It's not very, I actually find it really satisfying, but it's a mat with these little plastic circles which have these little kind of spikes. And there's like 15 by 15 rolls or something like that. You lay on it and it just really helps. Kevin Michael Reed is a man of many talents. Theatre director, has his own studio. Like, you see his studio, he's just got monitors everywhere, a wall of monitors pressing buttons. And obviously so much more. Producer. Okay, cool. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Something in my sleep. I mean, I ran 4 miles yesterday, but I think it was, I woke up. Here we go, look at this. Ballet dancer for 25 years. You say not anymore, but I don't know. Give it a go. Awesome! Thank you, my friend. Appreciate that. It's such a kind review. And if you want to go ahead and leave a review, you just go there. That'll show you how. But let's go into today's podcast, because we've been chatting for 30 minutes almost. It's just this music. It's very chill for me. It's new. So I'll go get my head in gear. Okay. Let's get to it. Episode. What episode was it? 823? 823. 823. 823. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 823. Now, in today's episode, we're talking about really mental overconsumption of information that may be, and most probably will be, getting you in more trouble than you think. You see, most people think they need more things. Like, we can even just play it out in our experience of like consuming physical items. We want this, we want that, we need a bigger house, we need a better car. We're really designed to try to learn and acquire more. That's why we go to school. That's why you're here. You want to learn something. For a lot of us, we want to buy things. I try to be pretty frugal and a bit minimalistic at times. But when it comes to the psychology of the mind, that is something that we've got to really think about. Most people think they just need more information. If I just read that book, if I just listen, here we go. Even with my work, I've got these 823 episodes, and you might be thinking, I've got to listen to another episode, I've got to listen to another one, or I've got to listen to another track, and all those kind of things. Or maybe go to another seminar, go to another training, see another practitioner, see another therapist. We get into this mindset that we need more information. But in reality, the chances are you don't need more information, you need more application, right? You need to apply what you have. Because if you start to apply what you've presently got and put it into action, you will then start to learn, and then you'll start to grow. But it's that paralysis of analysis, of information, that you have to acquire more information to get to where you want to be, to me is illusionary. And it's easy also because we're being sold things all the time. Like in business, for me, people reach out about their marketing service. I need to do this, go onto that mastermind, do this business program. And in reality, you don't. You may need just to choose one person or one avenue and go all in on that. And I'm not even saying about me and like my program or anything like that. You got to find someone who resonates with you to then go, I'm just going to take this information, what I have presently, and then start to apply it. Not just read it, think about it, dream about it. Because I like to see it as a scale. You have on the one scale your thoughts, on the other scale is your actions. Now, if you could imagine on this axis or axis or whatever your axi, whatever one we call it, you know what I mean, like one up, one all across, 0 to 10, 0 to 10, right? Just imagine that as like a little graph right there. On the one going all the way up, let's just say that's our thinking, that's our consumption of information. You may measure yourself out of 10 as to where you are, right? You might go, yeah, Joseph, I'm all in when it comes to consumption of information. I put time out every single day to learn. Or I might do 1 hour every single week to be able to work on my development, which is good and great. But then on the other axis or axi, 0 to 10, we've got to then ask ourselves, well, where am I here? Because if you're having a 10 out of 10 of information and thinking and imagining and absorbing, but you only have like a 1 and 2 output of the things that you do, the actions that you take in the real world, you're never going to get to where you want to be. You want to be aiming for like a 10 out of 10 most of the time. Not all the time, because things happen. We may get tired, we may get stressed. There are limits to how much we can go all out. If you think of an athlete, they can't keep on working out all hours of a day continuously, 24/7. They're going to have some peaks. So sometimes you may be a 7 and a 7, or sometimes you may have a 4 and a 10. But our ideal goal and outcome is to not just focus on the information and actually start to practice the application. Now, one of the myths that we have is we need to know more, right? So when I train people to do what I do, even though they've got the necessary skills to be able to make a huge transformation in someone, they don't always go for it until we teach them out of it. But initially they go, well, I don't know enough. I haven't got enough experience to start working with people. Well, no one did in the beginning, right? If you think of a brain surgeon or a surgeon in general or a mechanic, you've got to actually start applying what you know in order to get better at what you know. That's where learnings really happen. You did not learn to walk by just observing that information of people walking around you. You actually began to observe and then mimic. You began to model that information of people walking, and then you started to do it. And guess what? You failed, you fell over, you didn't look that good as a walker when you're walking because you're stumbling everywhere. But after a time of that application, what happened? It became second nature. Now, the other myth of I don't know enough, well, there's plenty of things that you do every single day, but you know nothing about. Like, I don't know when I flick a switch how electricity works. I don't know when I get into my car all the things like carburetors. I've heard the word, but I have no idea about what it does. But I still trust it. I trust and know electricity is going to be there. I know that the car's going to go. I know enough information to start to use what I have to start to apply it. So if you find yourself in the trap of information only, even if it's just listening to my work, then I really ask you to start to take action upon it. Start to get that 10 out of 10 of the actions that you do, because that's going to actually filter through to the information that you have. Because on the job experience, you will start to then get that experience to apply into wisdom. So you're not after information. You need the wisdom, and that is to me a combination of information but application. Because that's when you learn from your failures or so-called failures. Really, in reality, it's feedback. It's feedback that this didn't work, I'm going to do something else. And you keep on refining and refining and refining. And I think in, like, say, computer science, they called it like the TOTE model. So it's a TOTE, which technically means test, operate, test, exit. So you do some testing, then you do the operation, the thing that is doing it, then you test. If everything's all good, you exit. That's the whole thing. If not, you go back to the testing and then the operation of what you're doing, the application ultimately. You've got to think about your goals and dreams like that. You cannot just have wishful thinking. I know we've got things like the law of attraction, we've got things like positive thinking, mindfulness, and I'm not even putting down on those things. But the only way to even make those things work is to actually start doing something. Yes, we are human beings, but yes, we're human doings. We've got to do things to acquire that information, to become wisdom, to make that change. So if you were to ask yourself, based on the amount of time that you have when it comes to the consumption of data, information, in other words, self-development, podcasts, books, trainings, seminars, all of those things, if you just weigh that up, do you equal taking action on it? If you don't, then that's probably going to keep you stuck. And it may be the case that you are self-sabotaging yourself, because maybe you've got all this information, but you don't believe that you're good enough to start to apply it. A bit like in the beginning, my practitioners, they're like, I don't know enough, so what if I make a mistake? What if I can't help that person? Well, you don't know until you do, right? We don't know what we don't know. The only way we begin to know is to take things into the application mode. And that kind of goes into the 4 stages of learning. The first stage is unconscious incompetence. So I don't know what I don't know. I'm just totally unconsciously incompetent. Then I become consciously aware that something's wrong, that I want to make a change. I realize that, hey, I don't like this anxiety. I don't like this lack of doing. I don't like this self-sabotage. So then you become consciously aware that you're incompetent at doing a certain behavior, whether it be I'm not achieving my goal or I'm not getting the confidence I want. And then when you get to that level, you get to the 3rd stage, which is conscious competence. And then when you master that, it becomes second nature, which is unconscious competence. The analogy I always say is like when you first learn to drive, for those who have learned to drive. In one period of your time, you had no idea. You were even oblivious to what cars were, maybe when you're a baby. Then you become consciously aware that you're not very good at it because you've never stepped into a car. And then you start to maybe get some lessons and you start to go, well, this is real clunky, but I'm doing it. Like, it's not second nature, but you know the ins and outs, but then you keep on applying that, right? You keep on doing that action, refining yourself, and then it becomes second nature. So if you take that metaphor and an analogy and now apply it to, say, your esteem or a goal or a dream. If, for example, you are in that place of, I just don't know enough, that's not that good. If we just keep going, I don't know enough to be able to do, you will never know enough because, once again, from the application, the doingness will create the wisdom that you need, the experience, the lessons, and the learnings. And if we think of what transformation is, well, the way I work anyway, there's lots of different ways of working, but when I work with the unconscious mind, because if you could let go of your issue, you'd click your fingers and let it go, and that must mean the unconscious mind's running it. Well, the only reason as to why your unconscious mind keeps doing what it's doing is because it doesn't know any better, right? Otherwise, it would do something different. It may be even stuck from that place when you're like 7, 8 years old and that traumatic thing happened, and your unconscious mind made a decision. Well, that means I'm not good enough. That means I'm not worthy. That means I'm not capable or deserving, and so on. So it's trying to ultimately protect you. It's trying to keep you safe by playing small and not doing the work. But when you start to make that conscious first set of steps, where you start to consciously start to implement, you are then going to gather those learnings, that wisdom, which will then make the unconscious mind go, actually, this is a safer way of being. So the lesson here in this message is you probably know enough to get going. You know enough to gain experience from the outside world. So if I were you, I wouldn't just be buying another one of my hypnosis sessions. Most probably. Because I'm not here to sell you onto like my sessions or my program or my trainings or anything like that. For a lot of us, we probably know enough in information, but it hasn't become a reality because we haven't taken action upon it. So ask yourself this then. If, for example, you feel like you've got information but not enough application of the doingness, the things that you do, what 5 things can you do this week? 5 things that will lead you closer to your goal. Is it picking up the phone and reaching out to someone who you know will absolutely solve the issue? Or is it actually knowing that you know enough things to be able to start doing it yourself and going out there and testing, having that opportunity and that experience to get feedback, right? That's where you learn. Think of every single job, every single experience where you do something automatically on second nature. It could be your present job right now. It could be the walking. It could be the talking. It could be the driving. All of those things. Well, it took time, right? And in that space of time, the things that you did created that wisdom. So remember, you don't need to always know more. You just need to apply more. So consider, what 5 things can I do this week? Or the next 7 days, depending where you are on the week. In the next 7 days, that I can actually go out there and test. I can go out there and apply what I've got as information. And you may be surprised, number 1, that you can actually do it, or number 2, that you actually gain that wisdom by that application of the doingness. So that's what I really suggest. Don't over consume information. It's only ever going to make you feel like a failure. Think about it. If you keep on thinking, I need to consume more, you will never feel enough. You will never have that external validation from the things that you acquire, wherever it be from information to physical things to ever make you feel good on the inside. And what does that do? It makes you feel lost, alone, and unable to do it. You just self-sabotage and you play small. You stay in your comfort zone. It doesn't work that way. You're literally feedbacking the loop of that information as to why you can't do it by the nature of not even going out there to do those actions that you really need. So I hope you got value from this. Hopefully it kind of inspires you to get you going and doing more things. Those 5 things, what can you do? That's what I'm after from you today. And of course, if you want to gain a little bit of information, but actually the application, you can go ahead and download the Free Hypnosis app at freehypnosis.app and just listen, but actually take action as you do so. So sometimes we do need more information to take action upon it, so that if things are working, keep doing it, but don't play small and just think, I'm going to listen to a hypnosis session and do nothing. Go out there and test. Go out there and explore. We actually talked a bit about this, actually. The map is not the territory. Okay, the person's name, I'm trying to think of who actually said that. It will come back to me. If not, it'll come back to me. It's a podcast. But Alfred Korbisky, there we go. So, always hypnotize yourself to remember things by saying it will come back to you, and not that you cannot remember, by the way. So if we think about the map is not the territory, your map of the world, and I think we talked about this recently, is just your present experience. Well, there's so much more to discover than your present lens of thinking. There's just your present reality. There's so much more to discover, and there's so much more to explore, but you only explore the inner nature and reality of you by going out there in reality to do what has to be done. So I hope you got value from this, and I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye. There we go. Episode 823. It's not as motivating as episodes, but it is so vital. You have to start to take action on the things. When you take action on the things, they become an inner wisdom. Like, even talking about my program now, when the results that we're seeing with our people is because they're doing the module, or they've done some secret things that we do, and then they go out there and test. We're really big testers. I don't want them to feel good after a process only. I want them to feel good in every situation, in the real world. That is what we have to do. So go ahead and do that. Do, reflect, and adapt. There we go. Yeah. Remember, the law of requisite variety, the person or the system with the most flexibility and adaptability, like the last one there, controls the environment, the situation. And Claire also says, nothing ventured, nothing gained. There we go. It's the only way, get that feedback. Nice. Exactly. And thank you, Med. Appreciate that. Got to apply what you learn, otherwise it's just information, which is useless. You ever spoke to someone who tells you, I should have said this, they got all this information about, and they kind of tell you about all this information they have of how to lose weight, and they haven't lost weight themselves. Like, I am very confident about saying how to be confident, because I am very confident in my own ability, having not been confident and now being confident. But I'm not going to say how you need to get in shape or how to do X, Y, Z. Some people just kind of come from that place of just information, and you look at them and go, well, you're not applying that information yourself. And sometimes we've got to look in the mirror and go, am I sometimes being that kind of person where I've got all this self-development around me and I can like read it off like, yep, you got to take responsibility. Yes, perception is projection. Yes, map is not the territory. Yes, the person with the most adaptability controls the situation, but we still feel lost. Then there's a misalignment there. There's an incongruency where really the congruency comes from taking those actions that we need. There we go. That's what I was saying. So with that, it is Friday for me, coming up to 4 p.m. I got some work to do. Quickly edit this, put it up on the podcast. And like I said, I'm teaching tomorrow, or my teaching my group coaching call. So should we end a little bit earlier today? Shall we? We've actually got quite a few people on all the different platforms. Not many comments, but lots of people tuning in. So I'll hang around for a little bit. Has anyone got any questions? Questions? Or should we just... Or was that really loud for you as it was for me? What am I after? Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? I can do magic. Ready? Oh no. So one moment I'm here. Oh yeah, I didn't do that very well. So there we go. Any questions before we go? I wonder if this works, if I do this at the same time. I gotta unlock the scene. I forgot which way I am. I can... Yeah. Tell by the arm. No questions. No questions at all. I can just play around. And we're back. Okay, there are questions, but they're not coming through to my chat. That's funny. So, how come they're not coming through to my chat? That was me just ignoring you, just playing around. Great to have you here, Joe. Leah says, thank you so much. So on Facebook, I don't know if you're having questions either. Kevin Michael Reed said, why isn't that not going into my chat then? This is the last one I had. From Med. Kevin Michael Reed said, how do you find calm? How do you find calm? Be more stoic, Mr. Kevin Michael Reed. Be more stoic. Be at peace with the alternatives of what could go wrong, knowing that it's going to be fun. Thank you, Michelle, saying thank you, Joseph. Claire says, how do you manage emotional reactions? Like to people or to situations or in general? I would probably say, so emotional reactions, there's a process that you can just try on yourself, and it's about practicing. So what you do is you consider a time in the past where, or a situation which could trigger you to be emotional in reacting, whether it be a person or a situation in general. And what you do is you just imagine in your mind receiving that information, or like stepping outside of yourself and see yourself receiving that thing or that trigger. And then weirdly, what you do is you imagine another you, which is going to slow down the process and just observe it. And you kind of ask yourself, okay, but what does this really mean? It's like you're kind of freezing it and going, what does this really mean? So that could be, is it mine? Is it theirs? Is it, what can I learn from this? But if I learn, will allow me to react differently? Or how would I like to feel in this situation? And then you imagine a third you, which applies that information and knowledge to be able to then be okay, right? And what that does, it pre-teaches your unconscious mind to do that in that moment. The more you practice it, it's really powerful and a real big game changer, because you're just slowing down the strategy. You see, usually strategies are, I see this, I feel that, I'm overly reacting to it. But if you break down the pattern or the strategy by just observing it, you receiving it, then see another you really observing what's really this about, and then another you which will come up with the most ideal reaction. So how you want to think, speak, feel, be calm. And because we're also doing it, by the way, technically we're doing it in a dissociated way, so we're not looking through our own eyes, it takes away the emotion. Your neurology finds it very hard to distinguish between the observation of you. So it kind of takes the heat out, takes the energy out. And that means your unconscious mind goes, when this happens, I stop, I analyze, I reflect, and then I come up with this strategy. You repeat that like 10 times or maybe 10 different scenarios, if there are many, then that'll be a game changer. Joe says, I'm dealing with mental consumption overload. I think you may have came here a little bit later in the stream, so be sure to watch to the beginning. I think Kevin Marguerite says, Joseph isn't seeing our questions. That's true, I wasn't. And I was just having fun instead. I thought you guys were quiet. And Claire says, quite often emotional reactions are very quick and not always helpful. Yes, and that's why we want to freeze it for a moment and then come up with that observation. And Med says, I use that technique, observing the observer. Yeah. The more we dissociate and break down, diminishes the emotions that we feel. If you think of, say, phobic responses, we're very much in the moment, all the attention's on us, or we're too inside of ourselves in that experience. But as soon as we dissociate and we do it in this 3 ways, stop, observe and understand, and then come up with it, we'll be fine. Rosanna says, good as always. Thanks, Joseph. Just what I needed tonight. Oh, thank you. Said, love your answer. Have a super weekend. Oh, thank you, Rosella. I wonder if I missed some more as well. Should we look on... We don't really get many people on Facebook compared to other platforms we use. But now I've got to switch over my accounts. Did we get more? Did we get more? I don't think we did. So there we go. I do apologize for ignoring you all. That was funny though, because like you're far more chatty than this usually, everyone. Claire says, so I guess step back, maybe think, imagine being an onlooker. Yeah. So just really just freeze it. Come up with another you to really think, what does this really mean? Is it mine or someone else's? Am I generalizing? What am I missing here? What am I deleting? What am I distorting? And that gives you then more of the conscious, objective view rather than that subjective, distorted, deleted, and generalized view to then come up with an alternative reaction to teach your unconscious mind. Got a question here. Joseph, what is a faster way for me to induce trance-like state and give myself a suggestion and then follow that direction? So now we're talking about self-hypnosis. There are a couple of ways you can do self-hypnosis. Ideally, you want a hypnotist with you, because what they can do is put you in a trance, give you a keyword, or you may want to have like a physical connection, so a kinesthetic. And what it does, we kind of call it anchoring. Oh, no, I didn't. There's a stream elements coming through. But it's like word association, or like Pavlov's dogs. Ring the bell and they salivate every time they hear the bell, because they get fed every time they hear the bell. So you're creating the body to reproduce something. So it's a biological experience. So if you can get a hypnotist to hypnotize you, give you a keyword, and get you to like do some physical touch, so it could be like squeeze your finger and thumb. Weirdly enough, Leah, your one just came through saying you missed my one. I'll get to you in a second. So that will cause you to get the unconscious mind to do it. You can learn it in other ways though, but I would be looking into a book on that, of some form of self-hypnosis. That's what I'll do. So let's see. See, Meds, yours came through as well. Who did I... Oh, how can I not fall asleep so quickly? So, is that the one? Thank you, Leah, if that is you saying I missed that question from someone. Yeah, how can I not fall asleep so quickly? Do you mean, just to clarify, do you mean for... Or maybe you did have a question. I've missed so many. MZ says, thank you, I needed to hear this. I'm a chill person. Too chill sometimes. I get stuck in my comfort zone. There we go. Leah, if you've got another question, put it in the YouTube chat, in case I did miss one. But we had the question, how can I not fall asleep so quickly? Do you mean in hypnosis? Because I haven't replied to your comment on that one yet. For some reason, some are now coming through. Gotta be careful sometimes who you're hypnotized by. What's their intention? But remember, you will only take on suggestions which are safe for you. That's the other thing to consider. You'll take on suggestions which are fitting of your value system. So if I were to go to you, Joe, in a trance that you're going to rob this bank, if that went against your values very strongly, you'll go no. If you're a bank robber, you'll probably go, yeah, I can do that. Like, because that's your value system. So that's what I'll say. Okay, there's one about traveling. I can't find it. Whoever it was. They'll have to repost it. I can't find it. Okay, so while listening to hypnosis. So, a couple of things here. Number one, you may think you're in a very, asleep. But if you say, wake up from the count, say if it's a day hypnosis, a 0 to, when I count from 0 to 5 and you wake up most of the time, or the times you wake up, you're not in a sleep. You're just in a very deep trance. If, though, you are actually falling asleep, there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, notice your environment in which you're listening. If you're, for example, laying in bed, listening to a hypnosis session, your body is trained up to go to sleep most of the time when you're laying on the bed, right? So it kind of reignites the desire to sleep, or sometimes just laying down. So what I would do is get myself sitting more upright. Okay, so if you sit up more upright, the chances are you won't fall asleep. So put yourself in a position which is comfortable, but not maybe so laying down, head on the pillow comfortable that you're used to going to sleep like that. So that's what I would do. So, a little bit different. Is that true? Yes, that can be true. So there was a hypnotist called George Estabrooks. I've actually got... Let me show you the book. Let me show you the book. 1 second. Let me try and find the book for you. It'll be fun. Okay, I'm plugged back in. So I got this book here. It's a very, very old book, right? So it's called Hypnotism. It's... But he worked with the CIA. And it kind of teaches you a lot about, or kind of goes into a lot about it. This was first published in 1943. And this one is from 1957, this book. Or the text is. But it's still a blooming old book, though. But I would... So going back to the question, can you do things like the Manchurian Candidate? It takes a lot of time and a lot of a suggestible person. If you think of, for another like cross example, when you think of cults, a lot of cults will pick up people who feel emotionally damaged, right? They're very vulnerable, and then over a long period of time, they then fall into that cult. They buy more stuff, right? They buy more into the ideology of whatever they're trying to sell it as a cult. So it takes time and consistency, and it also, usually they've got to feel pretty broken inside. So yes, it is possible. I got another book on cults, which I cannot remember the name of, but I can't be bothered to unplug myself and go over there again. But yeah, an interesting book. He worked with like the CIA. That paper book was $3.50. Don't get books at that price these days. So there you go. Look, I got comments back. How cool is that? That's true. If you didn't know this, everyone, Kevin Michael Reed is the reason for why I broadcasted at 11 p.m. rather 1 a.m. He was the reason. That's true. And now we got some wonderful extra mods, because I know you guys are too busy sometimes. Okay, cool. Excellent. Yeah. So you could use that process, but just expand the process, going throughout the whole journey, observing yourself. It'll take away a lot of the emotions. I don't remember sleeping without sleeping pills, so what your hypnosis is doing, I guess, is calming my mind back to where it's supposed to be. There we go. Yeah. Which of the 4 books in the collected works of Milton Erickson is the best for hypnosis techniques? I've got the books over there, but I haven't looked at them for a long time, so I don't know. So I've got the books. I don't always think they're all that awesome, because they're good stories, some books. But they kind of miss out some of the application, I think. There's some good summaries, but I'm not sure on that one. Yes. Oh, my music stopped. Yes. Absolutely. To me, labels are really good, because they make us go, oh, now I know why I am like this because I've got ADHD, for example. Like that diagnosis can make us go, okay, wow, now I know my brain's not working the way it wants or where I want to be. Well, then we go, okay, now I've got this label. How can I help myself do this? So sometimes it's about clearing up some trauma. Sometimes it's about letting go of limiting beliefs, which will then allow us to be in a more calm, more resourceful state when things happen. So the triggers that we have may not produce the amount or any amount of what would usually be. So going on that journey of either clearing up old events like anger, sadness, fear, guilt, hurt, shame, and all those kind of things from our past, letting go of the limiting beliefs and decisions, getting the internal resources means that you can then be, and anyone who experiences, very resourceful in that situation. So absolutely. Yes, absolutely as well on that one. I knew you were going to say that. I knew it. I absolutely knew it. Once again, I don't know too much about it, but go ahead and look at the book. I think it's Lynn McTaggart, and it's called like Entangled Minds or Entanglement. Type that in and you'll be able to get it. I think it's maybe her or Dean Radin. Dean Radin. And it kind of goes into the telepathy of things like studies as well, not just weird woo la la stuff. It goes into the study. Dean Radin is a scientist and does lots of experiments like the random number generator and things like that. But it goes into, say, like the biology of like twins, how people even separated from birth as twins can still have the same type of things and like same experiences, and when something happens they feel this. So I would check out that. I only know enough to know enough, but I like the other thing I like, MZ will know this because I'm sure she is reading it or has read or still reading it. The book, The Holographic Universe, would presuppose some of those things actually existing because we're all interconnected. So that's probably going to deliver far more information. So Entanglement or Entangled Minds by Lynn McTaggart and or Dean Radin, or The Holographic Universe, which is one of my favorite books. I read it when I was like 19, 20. There we go. Yeah, exactly. But I done weird in this book. He does some weird stuff. There you go. Still reading it. No problems at all. You guys have been chatty then in the end. Interesting. Yeah, it is kind of fascinating. I don't know how true this is as well, that they've done it with pets. And I'm not talking about like that every time you get home at 5 p.m. because you always come home at 5 p.m. Whether it's maybe they've got a great sense of hearing and smell and things like that compared to us. But I think there were some actually legit studies of that happening. And now then we can also go to a different level as well, like even just biology. So when women go through their cycles and they live together, where it be like, say, a mother and daughter, or maybe it's like roommates, the biological cycle can actually begin to match. Now, why is that? There must be some form of connection there, right? Like, because it's not conscious, it's unconscious. But how is it picking up that? How is it mimicking or matching that cycle? So there are some weird and wonderful stuff in what the body does in terms of picking up energy, whether we call it telepathic or not. The other thing is we've got to be aware of that we say there's only, what, the 5 senses: visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, and gustatory. Well, they say there's like 21. So like even like proceptive is meant to be one. That's when you can like close your eyes and touch your nose and know where it is, right? Otherwise you'd be doing this kind of thing. So there are extra sensory perceptions that we have access to that we're not always consciously in control. Even like our gut feeling, we just feel something because our body is taking in so much more information that we're consciously aware of. So it feels very telepathic, or we feel this, but really it could be just observing the millions of bits of information that we don't consciously are able to experience. Yes. There we go. Definitely. Yeah. Mind and body. That's what we need. So there we go, my friends. There we go. I'll have to read this again sometime. Look, it goes into I can't see it. Automatic writing. As soon as I opened it up. Should have a book club, shouldn't we? Everyone buys a book and then we go over it. Or just be it easy, just do automatic writing, write our own ones. Exactly, that's what kind of said. And if people don't know like sensory acuity, just call it like sensory awareness, what we're aware of sensory, or what we're sensing in our awareness. Awesome! That's what we're after. Yes, a Friday. I've actually got still an hour or two to work, so... yeah, let's have a book club. I've got the books, and I'll say, look, let's go over this book today. Get me reading more again, rather just listening. Also, a tip for reading books. Do you want a tip? Let me know if you want a tip for that. How to get good at reading books. Initially. Because I was a terrible reader. What you do, you read the book whilst listening to the audio version. So you're adding more speed initially, because you'll be able to speed, because if you can actually add the speed up as you get going in the audio. But you're having the audio as a learning rather just visually looking at things. So it kind of adds to it. So that's what I would do. If you want to learn how to read quicker and better, or just to retain information, you listen to the audiobook as you're reading it. And that means you're a bit slow, you catch up and you absorb more, but after a while you'll be able to turn up the speed to like 1.25, 1.5. And then you'll be like, oh, and you'll just get quicker and quicker and quicker. Yeah, I remember seeing all the boxes of books that you had in your manuals. Yeah, exactly. We've got a good group here. Good group. Maybe next week, because I am having pizza tonight. I planned it in my head. I'm having pizza tonight, so nod to the bread. Hopefully they have sugar in it. I get a good one though, so it doesn't, but I'm having pizza today, my friend. And the pizza's usually big enough that I have it for the next day as well, because I eat by myself. But yeah, it's good to not have, look at that. We'll have a pizza book club. Pizza and book club. But Med will have to break that challenge for you. That one day. Oh. Yeah, well, rice. The sagaloo with the potatoes. Some Bombay potatoes. The sugar in the korma. It's gonna be the absolute opposite of that challenge. But I'll be on holiday. I'm just getting plain pizza. I might put some jalapenos on it. I might have that. There we go. Thank you, my friend. I felt like it was Friday. For Joseph Clough. Pizza Book Club. There we go. It'll be like a new different kind of slice as well. Be like, okay, this week we're reading Hypnotism by George Estabrooks. And we're also going to have the pizza with jalapenos and garlic and cilantro. And you'll be like, what? Cilantro? I go, look, it's a game changer. And then we're like, oh, there's a great book. But Joseph, better than the book, cilantro. And you'll be like, yep. Well, I'll be like, yep, I knew it. Cilantro for the win on pizza. There we go. Getting the practice in. Yeah, I'll go now. It's 4:20 for me. Thank you so much. I don't know if we're getting Facebook messages. If I'm not responding to you, it's because they're not coming through. Oh, coriander. A chicken coriander sandwich. Haven't had one of those for years, but that was great. But yeah, coriander on pizza is great. So there we go, my friends. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for leaving your chats and the comments, even though I didn't see them until I had a look. And have the most wonderful weekend. For those in my group, I'll get to speak to you tomorrow at the usual time. And we'll have fun. If not for everyone else, I'll hopefully get to see you on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday before I leave. And yes, I have had an Indian-style pizza before, and it was beautiful. Have a good one.